Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X from Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about the Xbox Developer Direct that we saw today, and I want to give you my afterthoughts on this. I've been thinking about this a little while. We were on 4GQ TV earlier talking about that with the panel cast. If you guys didn't get a chance to check that out, please go over there and watch that stream. We had a lot of good input over there, but I wanted to do a follow-up video and kind of talk about what I saw, what excited me the most, and what I'm really looking forward to. So, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started with this. Now, I'm going to start off with Avowed. Avowed is by far my most anticipated game coming from Xbox this year. Not only is that game looking incredible and coming a long way just since the last time we've seen it, the absolute diversity of that world looks very intriguing to me. The character design, the enemy design, just everything that's coming together, making me feel like, yes, this is definitely an adventure that I want to get into, and I'm very excited for that. Very pumped. I plan to do a little bit more research on that one, maybe watch that video a couple more times in 4K, but I'm absolutely stunned and very hyped for what Avowed is turning out to be. Now, I I uh, I know they didn't give us a date for that game, but they did say fall. So it. I hate it when they do that. I want games like Avowed to come out in the beginning of the year when it's a lot drier, when there's not a whole lot of competition, when there's not a lot of big titles. That would have probably hit really good for me to be able to get into that as early as May or something, or even within the next couple of months. I think that would have been a really good opportunity for Avowed to be able to stretch its feet, depending on how big this game is, how much DLC they've got planned for expanding on the world and expanding on the atmosphere and everything. But gosh dang, that atmosphere absolutely blew me away. I cannot wait to explore that game and like really just get into it. I'm really excited for that one. I definitely want to see more of that. Well, actually, I don't want to see any more of it really until it launches. I want to just be able to get in there and truly immerse myself in that experience. Avowed looks absolutely awesome, and I believe that is one heck of a game and definitely a reason to buy an Xbox. And it does look like the budget is significantly increased over what Outer Worlds was. This is looking very good, and it's definitely giving me a lot of promise for what Outer Worlds 2 is going to look like and what it's going to be. I'm pretty satisfied with the overall direction that this game is going. I like the fact that you'll be able to switch up your combat from melee to magic to just being able to pretty much play this game any way you want and have fun with that. I like those kind of games. I like those experiences. I like to just be in there and have really good dialogue sections, really good just overall choices and stuff like that. I do like those type of games, and I'm really looking forward to Avowed. The second one on my list is going to be Indiana Jones. Now, there are already people out there spreading controversy about this game because of the fact that it will not be a third person action adventure game, which pretty much even myself kind of expected that to be. But now that we know, like we're for sure, we know what it is going to be, a first person game, and it will have sections that, kind of like Rainbow Six Vegas, like when you would go up and you would lean out across the box, it would show you your character, stuff like that. There will be moments in the game when you're like traversing or climbing or doing things like that you'll be able to see Indy. So that right there is pretty cool. Like I do like that, but the immersive fact of being able to play this game in first person, that is going to add another level to what Indiana Jones is going to be. Not only is it going to give Machine Games the opportunity to fully flex the visual quality for this game, it'll also add another level of immersion that I kind of feel like games like Tomb Raider and Uncharted are really missing. They have that like action, adventure, all of that, and all the flair and everything like that, but they don't have that intimate one-to-one feel of being, Nathan Drake or Laura Croft, the way that Indiana Jones is going to deliver. If you played any of machine games, like the Wolfenstein series or any of those, you know that these guys can 100% rock some high quality looking visuals and deliver some of the most intense spectacle driven FPS games that you've ever played. Like, they are good at what they do, and I have a lot of high hopes for Indiana Jones. Growing up in the '80s and having Indiana Jones as one of those staples of like the '80s, growing up and being able to like really get into that, and that sense of wonder, that sense of adventure and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that like really drives me in video games. And to be able to play such an iconic character like Indiana Jones, now when I'm older, and be able to like fully immerse myself in that experience, and be able to see things up close, more detail, be able to walk around, figure out puzzles, and truly explore the world that Machine Games is building. I'm excited for that. Now, I know a lot of people's opinions are going to differ. Everybody wanted a third-person over-the-shoulder camera action adventure game. Like, I get it. I truly thought that was what this experience was going to be out of the gate. And to be completely honest, I am glad that Machine Games is able to rely on their expertise and build the game the way they build games, because that is going to deliver significantly more quality than having a studio that builds first person shooter games try to build something that they're just not comfortable with doing. I mean, obviously you can tell because of the fact that they do have those third person play parts where you're climbing and doing that kind of stuff. You can tell that early on in development that was probably something that they were toying around with, or something that they were going with, or maybe trying to give you the option of doing both. But I feel like you know the resources that it takes to make a game like that, and the deadlines, and I mean, Dial of Destiny just came out recently, and this game was probably supposed to come out closer to the launch of that movie. But I feel like somewhere along the way they had to make a decision on which path they were going to go with. So instead of cutting out all that that third person stuff that they had built for it, I'm pretty sure they just went like, okay, we've already got this. Let's find a way to make it work, and let's go first person with the game. That way we can build it. We're a lot better at that. We can hurry up and get in there, craft things, make things work, fit all the pieces together, something like that. I kind of feel like that's the direction it went, because I think we all, once we heard Indiana Jones, we all expected a Tomb Raider / Uncharted type of experience. But this is new. I like this. I like the way they're going to shake this up. And we already know that Machine Games can build incredible first-person games. I mean, my playthrough of Wolfenstein 2 sticks with me to this day. I'm just like, my freaking gosh, that game was cool. Some of them story beats, the characters, the detail, the absolute incredibly beautiful world that they created for that game for on the Xbox One X, incredible. So when I heard, like, when I think about what Indiana Jones is going to bring to the table, I'm excited. I'm very excited for that game. So I know Avowed is the one that I'm like, oh, that one there's got like my super hype going. But Indiana Jones has got my like intrigued hype. Like, I can't wait to explore this. I can't wait to play this game. Let's move on to the number third game. And let's talk about Hellblade 2. Let's talk about Hellblade 2. I'm really excited for this game. I would have put Visions of Mana in there as my third game, but let's talk about Hellblade 2. The incredible amount of detail that they've brought to this game, just visually, is enough to like be like, okay, wow, this is good. And to ramp up all of the other features, the sound quality, the sound design, and how they did that for the first game, to be able to use headphones again and truly immerse yourself in Senua's Saga. Whew, that first game was awesome. I was able to get through that whole game in about one sitting. And when you hear the director and how they're talking about this being a shorter experience, a highly crafted, high quality shorter experience. That to me, and I believe they're talking about the price being like $49.99 for this experience. So that there kind of puts me in an interesting position with this game. Um, as of late, Sony's been putting out a lot of games, and they've been on the short side. I'm like, there's no way to really talk about that. You're paying $70, you're getting a pretty short experience, and as long as Senua's Sacrifice or Senua's Saga comes in at about 10 hours and it's $50, I mean, it's obviously going to be on Game Pass, so you won't even have to pay that. As long as the combat, and the combat looks really good, it looks pretty weighty, but the game looks like it's 30 frames per second. It looks like they're shooting for super high quality visuals at 30 frames per second, and there's no way to really get around that. Yes, of course, obviously I'll be able to play it on my PC, so that's not going to matter, and I'm not going to harp on that. But you know that the internet trolls are going to go out of their way to tear this game down and try to tear Ninja Theory down for the games that they're building, and that really sucks, man. But that's the internet these days. That's what they do. They hate on everything before even trying anything, and then they just look like a bunch of fools. And it is what it is, man. That's the reality we live in these days as gamers that get on YouTube to look for things. Now, Hellblade 1, and going off my experience with that, I already kind of felt deep down, and I've mentioned this before on live streams and videos, that I figured that Senua Saga was going to run, Hellblade 2 was going to run in the same type of genre, same type of build, and pretty much work itself into maybe a little bit longer or a higher quality version of what we already had in the first game, maybe add some new mechanics, stuff like that. I kind of already felt like that was the direction this game was going to go in. And when you look at the overall experience and what they showed tonight, I feel like I was pretty much right on, and I'm okay because I already expected that. Yes, I wanted it to be more open-ended. I wanted it to be a bigger game. I wanted it to have higher, faster quality, more action-oriented action action combat that gave you more of a like a Devil May Cry type feel or something like that. I kind of wanted something like that, but this looks like it's going to be more up close, personal, a little bit more like what God of War is. I feel like that game inspired this one. I do, and I can already tell you that it looks like Senua's Saga is probably going to have a little bit better of a storyline. Clearly, obviously, I mean, God of War Ragnarok wasn't like the best story ever, but it got the job done. It worked. It was fine. I gave it an 8. I thought it was a decent game. It did look good, but when you compare and contrast what God of War looked like compared to Hellblade 2, you can see that one of these games is clearly a next gen game. The other one is an upgraded PlayStation 4 game. And they both look pretty decent, but obviously the nod's going to go to Hellblade 2. That game just looks incredible. There's so much packed into the design of that game that when you look at it and you actually take the time to like look around and see and just take in the atmosphere of this game with the sound, with the combination of the sound and the sound effects that they'll be able to bring to the table, using Dolby Atmos and all of that stuff. I just think that Hellblade 2 is absolutely gonna be one of those like one and done, hard hitting, AAA bangers. I do feel that way, and there's nothing, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Yes, I like more games like that, but this is what the Xbox guys have been asking for and demanding the Xbox bring to the table, and this is it. It's gonna be that AAA experience that looks incredible, that has a banging story with high quality visuals and high quality acting, sound design, everything. So yes, this is what you guys were asking for. So I really do hope that you guys enjoy it and respect it and treat it nice. Be good to it. I really hope you do, because if this game doesn't do well, I could see Xbox pivoted away from that and not continuing to make that type of game for you guys in the future. So I hope that this comes out. I hope that it turns out good. We get to play this in May, so that's pretty awesome. We'll be able to sit down with this early May, and we'll be able to check this out and play this. That's awesome. It's about time we finally have a release date, so it's cool. I'm excited about it. Aura, I'm not too interested in this RTS game that's coming out from Oxide or whatever. I looked at it. I'm like, I just don't know about it. So I'm probably not going to talk much about it. It does look good. It looks great. But the next game is going to be Secret Visions of Mana. This game looks pretty cool. This is something that I want to see more of in the gaming industry. When I look at this game and I look at the visual quality of this, it's like that look that I've always wanted, like cell shaded games or cell shaded games to look like, or like the anime ones. I've always wanted them to have that look, that cartoony look, obviously, but to just have like immense detail and fidelity in those visuals, and to like really pop and to really stand out. And I really believe that Visions of Mana absolutely does that. The soundtrack sounds incredible. This has always been what I've thought the evolution of this type of game was going to be, because I used to play a lot of this stuff back in like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and then as we got into like PlayStation 3, and it still looked the same, and the quality of visuals didn't really move along. They didn't really move too much forward in the PlayStation 4 generation. It wasn't really until we got to, the end of last generation, when games like Tales of Arise and, what was the other one? It's made by Bandai Namco. What was that one? It starts with an S. It was. Oh my gosh, dude! Let me just pull up this right here. I'm losing my mind. Well, like Tales of Arise and other games like that. I think it was. Let me just pull it up. I've got it right here. Sorry about this. I really am. Scarlet Nexus. Yeah. Scarlet Nexus. So games like Scarlet Nexus is when I absolutely got back to the point where I'm like, okay, JRPGs, these are getting pretty good again. I like this. The visual quality is improving significantly. We had like Code Vein and stuff like that, but Code Vein's more of like that Souls type experience. But games like Tales of Arise, Scarlet Nexus, these games coming out and kind of like reawakening that love for JRPGs that I had in other games. Obviously, we had like the spin-offs of the Yakuza, the Injustice, or not Injustice, what is it? Justice. Oh gosh, I can't even think right now. Put JRPGs in general. The evolution of these games and how they've evolved, they kind of, for me, they got really stagnant in the PS3 and, PS4, early PS4 generation. I just was looking at them and I'm like, gosh dang, man, like the visuals haven't really upgraded. They still have that same geometry. They still have that same wide open look. They don't look like they have any more fidelity. They don't have any vegetation. They don't have any of this. They don't have any of that. And it just got to the point where like I was increasingly evolving my likes for like visuals and quality visuals and stuff like that, and other games were delivering that experience that companies like Square Enix and all of the other ones were starting to fall a little bit short if it wasn't one of their like top end games. But I kind of walked away from Final Fantasy from like 10 forward all the way up to 15. 15 was the first one that I played after coming back, and was like, oh yeah, look at that looks incredible. So I bought it, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. But Final Fantasy was kind of a little bit weird, like the whole boy band BTS thing. I was just like, I don't really care too much about the like characters, but the combat is kind of cool. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake came along, and I was like, yeah, but I was already back into the swing of actually caring about that type of game. From Japanese companies again. So I was like, yeah, this is cool. And now I'm starting to get to the point where like I'm really starting to actually appreciate these, and seeing Visions of Mana today and in the visual quality. It does remind me of Infinity Strash. I got Infinity Strash. I've been playing around with that. I do like that. I love the visual quality of that. I like how they're really starting to make these games really pop and adding a lot more visual quality to them, a lot more fidelity. So, but Infinity Strash is more of like a corridor type closed off experience. You go from one thing to the next, and that's not bad. I do like it, but it does kind of seem a little bit low budget in terms of like the experience. So when I'm looking at Visions of Mana, and I'm remembering like back, like playing those on like Super Nintendo and Nintendo and stuff like that, and I'm looking back and I'm seeing these games and I'm trying to like reimagine, what I think they would have looked like, going forward, like the develop or like the director was talking about, and I look at this world and this experience and what it means to me, and how I'm perceiving what Visions of Mana is going to be. That looks incredible. I like the action. I really do like the action combat, the action RPG far more than I've ever liked the turn based. I've played turn based. I like them. I think they were fun, back in the day at a certain time in my life. But now I just don't have that desire to like sit down, or not it's not necessarily even a desire. Like back then I was kind of limited in my choices, man. I had this limited amount of money. I would buy like Final Fantasy 7 and I'd be able to get a lot of time out of that game, or I wouldn't have access to as many products as I have now. I have almost, it's almost like I have unlimited access to whatever I want. I mean, even with just Game Pass, that keeps you at a place where you just have so much access to gaming these days, and not enough time to play them all. And when you got a job and a family and a career and a YouTube channel and all of that stuff, yeah, finding time to sit down there and really focus on something like a turn-based game, that's getting harder and harder and harder for me to be able to do. Especially with games like Baldur's Gate 3. Like, obviously, that game is incredible. I would love to sit down and play it, but I just don't have that time to truly dedicate to that with everything else that's going on in my life. But something like Visions of Mana, being able to run around and explore an open world game, I love that. And I really do hope that this is an open experience. To be honest with you, I hope that this is an open experience, or at least a semi-open experience, because another game like Infinity Strash in the Mana series, that would frustrate me. That would leave me feeling a little bit like, come on, Square Enix, what are you doing? What are you doing? I want to see this do well, and I want to see this do well on Xbox. I want to see Xbox gamers embrace these games again. Games that we've all been asking for and we want to see. Let's show Square Enix that we're the Xbox platform. You know, Actually, you know what? That's stupid. Xbox or Square Enix is clearly losing a lot of money being dumb and just putting their games on PlayStation. I would like to see Xbox guys embrace this game, but I understand if you guys don't want to. I'm going to embrace it and play it day one. But I would understand if you guys don't want to. Like, Square Enix has pretty much been giving you guys the middle finger the whole time. So I don't expect you to do anything that you don't want to. I mean, if the game is exciting and it looks good to you and you want to play it, absolutely jump on it. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish this video up with the with the amazing fact that we're gonna be playing Pal World tomorrow. Xbox console exclusive, also available on PC. I'm definitely looking forward to this. Junior's pretty excited. He's been sitting in there with his Xbox on, waiting for the clock to strike 10 so he can hopefully start downloading it before he has to go to school, because he wants to just jump on it right when he gets home from school tomorrow. Me, I'm in a little bit different situation. I hope we can download it at midnight, or 10 o'clock, midnight, whatever, midnight Eastern time, and be able to, at least get it downloaded so I can come home and check that out tomorrow. Also got, The Last of Us 2 remastered. I will be waiting until 10 o'clock. I'll purchase that. I'll get it downloaded, and then maybe I'll be able to get a video out tonight. Probably not tonight, probably tomorrow, but I do want to try to be able to sit down this weekend and maybe possibly play through that one again, or at least play through the Ellie section, and then review that and see how that's going. See, if I can pick out any of the changes that have gone on with that game. I'm excited for it. I know a lot of people are giving it a hard time, and obviously Sony's got to do something to try to keep some income coming in. I get it. I mean, if you were to ask me how I really feel about like remakes and stuff like that, I would absolutely be okay if every single game on the PlayStation 1 was reimagined like a Resident Evil 2 type experience, I'd be happy with that. I mean, they could literally go back and redo the whole PlayStation 1 and Xbox One catalogs, or original Xbox catalogs, and bring those out, and I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. And then and the next generation do that with the PlayStation 2, 3, and just so on, because there are so many amazing games out there that I was unable to even try due to limitations of funds or something like that, that I would love that opportunity to be able to go back and check some of these out. And if you want to, you know, I mean, if these companies were smart, they would do that. They would go back there and they would make these games that these new youngsters haven't even ever heard of, because some of those were absolute bangers back in our day. The games that we played back then, wow, they were so cool. And if they reimagined them and made them like into new games, you know, same story and stuff like that. But I mean, like, look what they've done with like Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. Those came out on PlayStation 1. If they can bring those games that far forward and turn them into commercial successes, why wouldn't Tenchu be good? Why wouldn't Metal Gear Solid be good? Why wouldn't some of those games that were on PlayStation 1 be good? Why wouldn't Arc the Lad be good? Why wouldn't, I mean, like, look at Final Fantasy VII, a remaster of that, or a remake of that game, a retelling, and that game is a commercial success. Those games deserve to be brought back to life. They do. They deserve a new fresh coat. They deserve to be reimagined in a way that will make them modern, but also giving you that nostalgic feeling of playing those games from before. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Andrew, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 10K this year. Do it, do it, do it.